So we're gonna take out the old starter and put a new starter in. It's located on the right passenger side behind the wheel well. Right behind the frame rail here. So this just sits right there. So we'll start by taking out the top bolt and then take the lower bolt out. These are the tools you'll need for the project. A 10mm wrench for the small wire going to the starter, a 16mm for the large gauge wire going to the starter, a 1/2-inch socket and a ratchet with an extension to take the 2 bolts that hold the starter on, and a 5/16 wrench to take the battery cables. First step is to disconnect the power from both of the batteries, and that takes a 5/16 wrench. So this is the starter we got from Napa. There's a part number for it, and ours is a 2002 F-350 with a 7.3 diesel in it. So it's just got 2 bolts right here, and then one bolt for the power that's power all the time, and then there's a 1 screw down there that the little wire goes to that comes from the key. It was right out just over $200 for a reman starter. There's the lower bolt. The top bolt is, you can't hardly see it, but it's up there. So we're using a ratchet with an extension that's about as long as the starter is. It does have a swivel on it, which makes it helpful. Okay, so we got the starter out. There's the wire that goes up to the key, and this one's been taped up, but there's the wire that has 12 volts all the time. So right up here is where the bell housing is that holds the starter on. You can see there's a bolt up on top and a bolt on the bottom, and then you can see the ring gear in there too. So we're gonna set the new starter right up on there, and first we're gonna put the wires on. You'll thank me for that later. It's a lot harder to get to it. So put the big wire on first, and then the little wire on that goes to the key. And you can usually set it right up on top of this little bar. Just make sure it doesn't pull on your wires. Okay, we got the little wire on with a 10mm, and then we got the big wire on. Make sure you don't over tighten it, but make sure it's snug. And then we can set the starter up in there, get the 2 bolts started. We set the starter up in there, got the bottom one started, and the top one, I don't know if you can see it there. Once we got the bottom one started, we took a long extension that's as long as the starter and a 1/2-inch socket, and it's got a swivel, makes it a little bit easier, and we tighten that one up. So that one's tight. Now we're just going to tighten up the bottom one. The solenoid goes way up on the top back side. It seems like it would be hanging down, but it's tucked up behind the starter, and it won't even go on the other way. So this is what it looks like when it's on, and if you got any loose wires, make sure you secure them. Okay, so we got the battery terminals all hooked back up on both the batteries, and we're gonna go see if the starter works. We're not gonna start it because I don't have it plugged in and it's cold, but we'll at least see if it turns over. Yep. It even acts like it wants to start. So the starter's working, so good news. I guess that's how it's done.